I feel so fancy with a cat in my lap and a mic on my shirt and a light in my face. When I was 15, I went to my first local concert, and that was when I kind of decided that music was going to be in the realm of creation that I wanted to do, and not necessarily like, you know, making music itself, but being involved in music and that sort of creative endeavor. My name is Kyla Rain. I am 22, almost 23 years old. Professional title, I think I would usually say curator and creative director, because I do a lot of different things that are really, you know, drastically different, touch and go, kind of jack of all trades situation. So at the moment, I work at a creative tech company. We build services for independent artists to be able to be financially stable and support themselves throughout their work, no matter what degree of, you know, experience. And then I also run a magazine publishing company called Pure Nowhere. I've been doing that for about 7-8 years now with my best friend. We publish books, we throw shows, we tour, we do everything under the sun.
My name is Morgan. My relationship to Kyla is I live with her, and she's the love of my life. And we create beautiful art together, and I watch her create beautiful art, and we exist in a beautiful creative space. God, knowing Kyla, creating alongside Kyla is like, she's just this wealth of information. You know so much about so much. And it's just so fantastic because it's like throwing a bouncy ball into a pit of bouncy balls, and then you just like, everything reacts, and it's so fun. When we create together, I feel like it's just like two kids in a fucking playground. Like, it's so fun.
So recently went on tour in Europe with my publication for a book that we published about 2 years ago. My friend Dakota is a poet, and so we began working with her on her first poetry book over quarantine. And throughout that period of time, she gained a bit of following on social media for her writing, which is lovely and beautiful. And so we ended up publishing her poetry book, and it got nominated for Best Poetry Book of the Year in 2022. Yeah, 2022 last year. And I made it to the final 4, which is very fun. So my magazine co-owner, Abby, lives in Australia, and her and Dakota, the author, did an Australian book tour while I was in school, so I couldn't go. And then we did a UK and Ireland book tour in the summer for about 2 months that I was able to go on.
Hello, my name is Bida Tanavoli. I'm 23 years old. I live in New York. I'm an events coordinator, and I curate mostly art shows in New York. Kyla and I went to college together at USC. Kyla and I have worked on many projects together, but just recently in New York, she needed an art coordinator for a recent show, and we worked on that together. The event was really fun. We had poetry, an art gallery, and improvised music.
Last summer was really grateful to get to do like a creative series with Converse and Tyler the Creator. So I went to Australia, Sydney for about 5 days, and I worked on a creative incubator for Converse with a bunch of other creatives around the world, and we made some really beautiful capstone projects that we presented to Tyler at the end. I think at the core of it, documentation makes me feel most fulfilled, whether that's, you know, concert photography, which I do a lot, whether that's through life documentation, through my journals, through writing, through collages, I love mementos and tactile things, and how many ways can you sort of blend and display and put those together, I think is really beautiful. I don't know, I feel like a lot of my favorite art isn't necessarily work created by artists, it's work created by people who were in the right place at the right time, or who just had a camera or thought to write something down, or had that, you know, restless urge in their stomach, not necessarily for any particular reason. And it's oftentimes those photographers and those creative individuals where we remember the work that they made, but we don't necessarily remember the person. And then the other thing that drives me forward is like the knowledge of how many other people possess that same feeling and feel very lost in their ability to navigate their self-expression and platforming in the world. And I think that that's why I choose the word curator when most people ask me what I do, because I do make art and I love making art, but at the end of the day, I don't want to be an artist, you know? I want to create spaces for other people to feel seen and displayed and feel like they have an opportunity and place in the world. And if at some point someone appreciates something that I make, then that's great. But if I end up, you know, one of the creative individuals that's like forgotten by name but remembered by work, I think I'd also be very satisfied in that too.